Good evening. Thank you all for coming out to our Fireside today. Now, if you're sitting there wondering how a dude with an Australian accent is giving the closing remarks at the Freedom Fireside, my name is Hamish Reeves. I'm the director of the Spirit of Freedom Pageant this year. Almost exactly 4 centuries ago, there lived a man not unlike you and me. He was a husband, a father, a pastor, a man just trying to do his best. This man was named Reverend John Lothrop. He was not a king, he was not a general, nor a man of great power. He was simply a man who loved God deeply enough that he was willing to lose nearly everything for his right to worship his God. Reverend John Lothrop was imprisoned for his faith. He suffered things no one should suffer. His family suffered things that no one should suffer, all while having the choice to be free if he could just lie, if he could just roll over and side with the king, if he could deny his conscience. But he understood something that we sometimes forget. Freedom is rarely preserved by powerful institutions alone. It is preserved first in homes, in families, in communities, and in the hearts of ordinary folk willing to sacrifice for what matters most. And because ordinary men and women like John stood firm in their homes and in their faith, we enjoy freedoms today that generations before us could only pray for. I didn't live in America 7 years ago when the Mormon miracle pageant was performed, but I tell you what, I knew about it. Do you know how crazy it is that a county with only 32,000 people could create a pageant every single year so big that I knew of this tiny town called Manti when I lived across the biggest ocean in the world from it? Did you know that it was estimated that 15,000 people every single night for 2 weeks straight would come to see the Mormon miracle pageant every single year? That's 120,000 people annually, or almost 4 times the population of this entire county, just coming here to hear a story. When the church stopped funding the Mormon Miracle Pageant 7 years ago, it was for good reason. The LDS Church was transitioning to a more home-based model of worship and wanted to put the Mormon Miracle Pageant in the hands of the community, not banning us from putting it on each year, but withdrawing its official support. The lack of funding, combined with the pandemic mere months later, meant that the Mormon Miracle Pageant is no more. I believe that the Mormon Miracle Pageant was perfect for its time, but we are no longer living in its time. The Spirit of Freedom Pageant does some things different to the Mormon Miracle Pageant. It's performed live instead of being pre-recorded. There's music in this pageant, and it's about an independent minister in England rather than the story of the LDS faith. This pageant may be different, but I believe that it's the pageant that is perfect for our time. Imagine again 120,000 people a year coming to Manti to see a pageant because a community like Sanpete County decided to band together to show the strength of the community, the strength of the home, and tell a story worth telling. This is going to feel tangential, but trust me, it's relevant. A particular passion of mine is Tongan culture and Tongan music. The Tongan people are incredible. Some of my dearest friends are Tongan. And did you know that Tonga is one of the smallest countries in the world, both in terms of population and landmass, yet they're also incredibly strong. I mean, they're built, but also as a country, they're strong. They are the only Pacific island that was never colonized or conquered. They have an incredibly strong culture and their faith can move mountains. It's the only place in the world with a higher population of active members than Utah, which is kind of crazy. To me, one of the most fascinating parts of their culture, however, is their music and the fact that it's orally taught. They rarely, if ever, write anything down. It means their music can evolve. It means that their music can be what their community needs it to be, but it also means they have to be very careful because long ago they learned a lesson that, when I learned about it, hit me to my core. It only takes one generation to lose something special. There are thousands of Tongan songs and genres that we are never going to hear again. No one knows today and no one's ever going to know again because they were forgotten. Now they have a complex structure in place so that no song is left unsung, so they don't lose what makes the Tongan people special. But we aren't any different to them just because we live over here in America. It only takes one generation of us forgetting what matters most for it not to be passed on. The story of John Lothrop matters because freedom is never more than one generation away from being forgotten. This is why stories matter. This is why community matters, and this is why this pageant matters. Like John Lothrop, we are all ordinary folk, but that is what makes us special. That is the kind of people that we need. We don't need great rulers, we need us. We need farmers. We need teachers. We need cashiers. We need retirees. We need fathers and mothers. We need teenagers. We need musicians. We need carpenters. We need people who can sew. We need people who can pray. We need people willing to give just one summer evening a week. We need people willing to preserve stories before they disappear. You don't need to be an actor. You don't need stage experience. You do not need to be a professional musician. You just need to be willing to take part in the pageant. If freedom is worth preserving, then it is worth participating in. And if we want our children to inherit faith, courage, sacrifice, and liberty, then we cannot wait for someone else to teach them. It starts in our homes, it starts in our communities, and it starts with us. So please, if you want to help with our pageant, I'll be standing right down here after the fireside concludes. You can also visit our website, spiritofreedompageant.com, and you can volunteer there. We need anyone, and I mean anyone, who wants to help. We need carpenters to make the sets. We need seamstresses to sew the costumes. We need those willing to help backstage. We need those wanting to be in the ensemble cast. I promise we need you. Please come be a part of a great story. Come be a part of the very first Spirit of Freedom pageant. Thank you.